In order to achieve contentment, Allah has prescribed fasting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed upon you just like it was prescribed upon those before you, in order that you may develop your relationship with the Almighty, in order that you achieve consciousness, in order that you achieve taqwa. When we fast, how would we achieve contentment? Number one, we calm down. Number two, we realize that it's not all about filling our own bellies alone. We control, we achieve discipline, and that's how you get contentment. We become compassionate, because when I'm hungry, I start thinking about others who are hungry, and I start thinking about those who don't have food at all. When I think of them and I develop my relationship with the Almighty, I will automatically reach out to them by giving them a little bit of what the Almighty has blessed me with. And this goes back to the point we raised, where by reaching out to those who don't have, we would actually be achieving contentment and happiness. So it's amazing how the fasting is all connected to achieving contentment. Another thing, during the fast, we are taught to be careful of what we say, what we utter. You say words that will please Allah, the remembrance of Allah, all sorts of good words, and you make sure you stay away from bad words. The reason why you have to stay away from bad words is because by mentioning or saying bad words, you're going to hurt people's feelings. When you hurt someone's feelings, you will not be able to achieve contentment. So this is why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, tells us, مَن لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلَ بِهِ وَالْجَهْلَ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ فِي أَنْ يَدَعَ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ. Whoever does not leave false witness and bad words, wrong words, evil words during the fast, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need the fact that they have stayed away from food and drink. They have actually wasted their time. So if you watch your mouth and you only say good words to your spouse, to your children, to your family members, to those whom you work with, to those whom you interact with, etc., you will definitely achieve a calmness and a contentment. All this, the training of which we receive during the month of Ramadan. What a beautiful, blessed month. Similarly, the Prophet ﷺ tells us how important it is not to react and retaliate to someone who's abused us in any way, in a way that would create a bigger problem. When you're fasting, you should go out of your way to say, I am fasting. You've sworn me, but I'm fasting. I'm not going to swear back, and I'm going to train myself to become a better person even while I'm not fasting. Amazing. Which means even during the days I'm not going to be fasting later on, I will still be of this high level of morality, high values, and so on. Immediately after the verses of fasting, the Almighty makes mention of something very, very powerful. When my worshippers ask you about me, ask you meaning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about me, tell them I'm very near. I respond to the call of those who are calling out to me, asking me. So ask me and I will respond. Imagine the Almighty is telling us how important it is to call out to Him for our needs. When you have a need, you first call out to the Almighty. You ask the Almighty. You make sure that you call out to Him alone, and you make sure that you are content just by the call. Why content? He may give you what you want, and if He knows it's not good for you, you are so convinced and you have so much in terms of belief in the Almighty that you will know He didn't give it to me because perhaps it wasn't the right time, perhaps it wasn't the right thing, perhaps it wasn't good for me at all. So we called out, we received the reward by calling out, and you know what? When we called out, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has heard that particular dua and supplication. And so we were satisfied. In Ramadan and outside Ramadan, we call out to Allah. In Ramadan, call out to Allah more. Imagine Allah creates needs within us so that we can develop a relationship with Him. If we didn't have those needs, would we be calling out to Allah? Many people whose lives seem to be flowing and smooth, they don't even call out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, they don't even fulfill their own obligations unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence, they lose contentment, they lose that happiness. You cannot achieve happiness if you don't have a link with the one who's made you. It might be a temporary feeling of joy, it might be a temporary happiness, but it's not a deep-rooted contentment within the heart. And this is why the Almighty tells us about calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just after having spoken about the month of Ramadan and the fasting of Ramadan. Allah says, it is the month of Ramadan, the month in which the Quran was revealed. Give importance to the Quran in this month. It is also known as the month of the Quran. The reason why it's known as the month of the Quran is the Quran was revealed in this month. So there is a greater reward to give importance to the Quran during this month. I encourage you to pick up the Quran on a daily basis during the month of Ramadan. Read a page or two at least, a little bit more perhaps. Read the meanings of it, try and understand it, put it into practice, and try to convey that message to others. You will definitely achieve contentment. If you want happiness, you cannot afford to divorce yourself from the recitation of the Quran and the connection with the Quran, even through its understanding and much more.